Well, hey there, it's Sandy Allnock, and recently I shared with you the swatching of the new Daniel Smith colors, 6 of them for 2025. And today I'm going to share a painting I made with those 6 colors plus a little iridescent electric blue because this girl has some amazing eyes. I chose a photo from Unsplash by, I'm going to probably botch this pronunciation, by Jaune Brilliant. Probably something like that. My apologies if I got that wrong. I liked her blue eyes, and she had the skin tones that I was thinking of when I saw these colors. Because I thought with the lighter and the darker Jaune Brilliant colors, I thought those would work with some pink in the cheeks and in some of the shadow colors, a little bit of purple, and then the green for the background. So this kind of had all of it. The only thing it didn't have, of course, was the iridescent electric blue for the eyes. And I cheated and used a little bit of that, but I was trying to not even use like any other darks because I really wanted to do some darks for even like the centers of her eyes and for some of the deepest, darkest shadows. But, you know, I'm going to try to do my best to challenge myself to do a painting with just these 6 colors. And so I put the colors down, left my whites, and then softened the edges of them, and then moved on to some other areas. I just wanted to get this first wash of the skin tones in, and then I'll do another wash over top in a little bit to kind of soften those out, because right now they're just really hard, sharp types of highlights, and I don't really want that. The hair is going to be mostly the Jaune Brilliant number 1. It's more of a yellowish color. And I saw the swatch on the Daniel Smith website, and it looks very grayed out compared to what it looks like in real life. Although I tried these colors, one of the paintings I tried was on the Bauhong paper, which I discovered I don't like. It did something really terrible to the color, and it didn't look yellow at all. It looked like a grayish color. So maybe they swatched it on that color. I don't know. Anyway, it's pretty color when it's on a nice bright white Arches paper. The girl's wearing a dress or a shirt, whatever the top is she's got on, that has little sparklies on it. So I just gave it kind of a mushy underwash in order to create the base for what I'm going to put on there later on. But that's not the important part of the painting, so I let it be really loose. Once I got everything dried, I started putting in my second layer. And that's all of the, kind of purples and the brown colors, a little more of the pinks, just deepening each of these colors and using a variety of brushes. The big brush that I'm using is the one that I've been using a lot recently. It's my new Vinci silver point brush. The back end, you can see, has a silver thing on it. And you can kind of use it for silver point. I don't find it to be really great for silver point because it's kind of big and fat and chunky and makes a super soft line. And you also have to use it on something that has kind of a gesso on it. Anyway, long story, I'll be doing another video in the near future with silver point, but for now, I'm just using this brush because I like it. They call it a quill brush. I think of it kind of as a mop-ish brush, but anyway, it's just a nice big brush and gives me great coverage because it picks up so much color and water. And then it also gets down to a pretty fine point, which is rare in a brush that big in my experience. But I'm layering the colors, just kind of laying kind of the yellow colors, the golden colors in with the purples so that the purples don't end up too purple. I want some of that flavor of the purple and the pinks and stuff, but toning it down with some other colors really helps. And just slowly building up the layers. I tried several, I can't even remember how many. I put a lot of paper in the recycle bin trying a bunch of different portraits. These colors weren't good for a lot of other portraits. I ended up choosing a child because these are just kind of light, fresh colors. And I tend, when I'm doing older people, just what I normally paint, I use a little bit dirtier colors because our skin isn't as pure as it is when you're a little kiddo. So that's one of the reasons I chose her. I'm sure that if you have a portrait style that uses very fresh colors, these would be great for you. Just wasn't all that awesome for me. But slowly building up those colors, finding, I used too much of something or got a hard line, had to use the brush to kind of wash out some of that. But here I'm just covering up some of those highlights so they start to minimize. Just putting a little of the Jaune Brilliant #1 in that to just soften them. And, over time with the painting, they'll get softer and softer. The hands were a challenge. Hands are always a challenge for me. I was kind of thinking since her fingers were at least tucked under her hair, I could get away with them. But it was looking bad for a while. I want you to just hold on, deep breath. It's going to get better because there are some deep shadows that are going to hide the crazy outlines that showed up there. And that's what is the result of what I call kissing. I've talked about that in other videos and in classes. When you try to make one shape butt up against another shape. So I had the face butting up against the hand, and I ended up with a dark line. In this case, it's okay to have that dark line because I know I'm going to fix it with some deep shadows. But a lot of times people try to do that when there's not a deep shadow there, and then it just looks like it's got a big fat outline. And that's what I've got right here right now. But hang tight because I will fix that. Each one of these colors I just kept layering on to make them deeper. The lips in just the coral reef color were not dark enough pink. So I added some of the Earthy Light Red to it, as well as a little bit of the Manganese Violet, and just kind of deepened the top lip. Top lips are always darker. I know it's counterintuitive, but it's almost always darker. And just kept darkening all of the skin tones. Once that was kind of settled, and of course I didn't wait until the hands were dry, I started painting in the hair. And the hair is blonde. I wanted it to feel, of course, different than the skin tones. But when I'm using the same colors for everything, it's kind of hard to get that difference. So it's going to be a textural difference since it's the same colors. And I'm using the Earthy Light Red along with some of the Manganese Violet in here to try to dull that down because there's no blue in this grouping of colors. And I would normally put a blue in with that brownish color in order to make it more of a dark neutral. But no possibility for that there. Like every time I painted with these, I was kind of stuck with gosh, I can't get anything really dark out of these. Because the green is dark, but I'm not going to use the green in the skin tones and in the hair, right? Why would I do that? So I just kind of kept screwing up and doing a lot of really bad portraits for a bit. But I started working on adding in more of the Jaune Brilliant 1 and some of the Earthy Light Red along with the violet, and using 3 of those colors together in the hair and trying to create those clumps of hair, looking for the places where there were dark shadows so I can indicate the movement of the hair, the way it swings, the way it tucks, the way hair kind of folds and twists around each other and that kind of thing. There's a dark section right under her ear, and I started putting in a lot of purple and the reddish brown color, and then I realized, gosh, that really looks very purple. So I kept trying to add things to it and then decided to just let it dry for a bit because now I've got a big old chunk of the purple in there. And I'm like, oh, let me go back one more time with some brown. It was a process. This is why I'm not a portrait artist, because I can't get as loose as I can when I'm painting landscapes, which is why I like landscapes, I think. So then we get down to the details in the shirt, because she's got that sparkly shirt, and I wanted to have some of those deep dark purples, and that's where I can make the lines disappear around the hands, because now I've got something dark, a different value on the other side of them. If you have 2 objects next to each other, like the skin of the face and the skin of the hand, and there's no real separation, the lighting has them both being about the same, there's only a pale difference between them, it's really hard when you start getting that line to get it to go away. But as long as you have an area of shadow, you can kind of hide that and make that disappear. But I've just got to play around with the purple and trying to put in some of these little almost dots just to indicate there's something fancy going on the shirt. Used a thinner purple, more water in it to try to make a little bit of that detail in the whites of the shirt. And I also used a little bit of the Earthy Light Red and, added a little bit of that because I saw that kind of color in there. But now it's getting to the point where I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to see these darks in the shirt. And I'm going to need some more darks in the hair and just some other spots on the painting. So I got to do something with it. But before I did that, I decided I'd put the background in. Now, I had tried this painting once before and it failed miserably because I was trying to do the bokeh and trying to make it all really dark like it was in the photo. But knowing that I wasn't going to be able to get it really dark in terms of having a dark color, a really dark brown, or colors that I could mix to make a dark brown in this set, then I was going to be stuck with having too much dark in the background and it was going to wash her out even further. So I decided to go really light. I painted water in the whole background first, just threw in some random blobs of the green, a couple of random blobs of the purple just to make some difference in there, and then used my needle brush to kind of dance those lines in so that I can get some of those flyaway hairs she has in the photo reference. And doing that while the paint in the background is wet allows all that to kind of blend in, but it does start to create a bit of a feeling of an outline around her hair because I'm painting that dark color in. So in a couple of spots, I just threw in some water, just sprayed some to loosen that up, and then used a baby wipe to lift random places and then get rid of some of the really darks so that I didn't have anything that was going to start making her look more pale by having too much value in there. Then I realized I wanted a little more value. I needed something to make her separate from that background. So I started at the bottom using thicker pigment of the Cobalt Green Deep and then letting it just kind of slowly fade out at the top so that there wasn't any real white up there. The white is going to be in her hair. Now this color I mentioned in the previous video is kind of like Cascade Green, but it doesn't break out into blues, because Cascade Green will turn into a really pale blue if you water it out. This one doesn't do that, but gosh, does it granulate. I mean, like crazy granulation. So if you love granulation, this might be a color to try out, the Cobalt Green Deep. Now, I wanted to put real darks in here, in her hair, and I decided to try a little bit of the green in here, just for fun. And I figured I could always just wipe it back off because, got a baby wipe at hand. I could remove that and then started putting it in alongside of the purple so that I was getting a mix of the two colors. And then when it started getting into lighter areas, I'd switch out and pull in a little bit more of the Earthy Light Red. And normally you don't have to think that much if you're using colors that you know and understand. Everything's meant to go together. I don't know if these colors are all built to go together or not, but that's when I was trying to use them as a group. So I was trying not to go to other colors in my palette that I knew and trusted a little bit more. So then I started on the eyes and I put some purple in the shadow area under the eyelid on that iridescent electric blue, and then used a little bit of purple to put a shadow in the whites of her eyes as well, and mixed a color that I figured I'd give this a try. I mixed a color with the purple and the green together. And it wasn't black necessarily, but it was dark. And you can definitely see there is some value change happening in here that's starting to give it some dimension. This is where I always talk about contrast. When you see contrast, that's when you start seeing the separation of one shape from another. And this allowed me to go in a couple of areas around the hands and start creating that visual separation between her face and between the hands, the place where the two join, that kind of thing. And I can also revise the shape of the hands. There's some places where they're a little bumpy, and that starts making them look more like hands. Always trying to be careful not to make it look like a solid outline completely around the shape. Making it look like it's thicker in some areas, thinner in some, disappearing entirely in others really makes a big difference in making it not look like you've taken a pen to outline the different parts of your painting. So while this is not a perfect painting, I am not a portrait artist. I am pretty darn pleased with how this came out because I had so many fails. Maybe by comparison, it came out awesome. But tell me what you think. Leave me a comment down below in the comment section and let me know which of these colors intrigues you the most. I wouldn't say any of these colors are like must-haves, although that Manganese Violet might end up in my palette because I've been fighting with what purple I want, and I kind of think I like this color. So let me know I will see you again in another couple of days with another video, because that's what I do around here. Subscribe if you're not yet already, because I'd hate for you to miss out on some fun coming up. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.